All right. Today, we are diving into a massive, multi-billion-dollar problem that's been haunting global shipping for, well, centuries. Fraud. The whole industry has been chained to paperwork, endless delays, and just plain deception. But now, a really powerful combo of new technologies is coming into play, and it promises to break those chains for good.
So, just to get a sense of the scale we're talking about, look at this number. $80 billion. That's what insurance fraud alone is estimated to cost every single year. And a huge chunk of that comes right out of the shipping industry. This isn't just a rounding error, right? It's a massive drain on the entire global economy. This is the dragon we're trying to slay.
And here it is, the proposed Dragon Slayer blockchain. I mean, the claims are pretty bold, almost hard to believe. Slashing document fraud by 75%? Cutting your operating costs by nearly a third? The people pushing this say it's not just some small improvement, it's a total revolution in how we trust global trade, shifting from paper and a handshake to pure cryptographic proof. Now, what's really interesting is that this isn't some fringe experimental tech anymore. Just look at these adoption numbers. Banking and finance, they're leading the pack at 30%. But you've also got big buy-in from government and insurance. Blockchain is actually becoming a mature cross-industry platform. Its whole premise of security and transparency is proving itself out there. But is it really the silver bullet for the chaos of port logistics? Whoa, hold on a second. Before we pop the champagne, we really need to talk about the data itself. Sure, the technology might be secure, but what exactly is it securing? This is where the whole beautiful argument can completely fall apart. It leads us to this idea of the immutable lie. Okay, so here's the absolute heart of the problem. Blockchain's biggest strength, the fact that you can't change the records, its immutability. Well, that becomes its greatest weakness if the data you put on the chain is fake to begin with. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out scenario. See, if you record a lie on the blockchain, it doesn't magically become true. It becomes a permanent, unchangeable, and this is the most dangerous part, a trusted lie. And this just shows you how terrifyingly simple it is to make a lie last forever. Just picture a busy port. Someone fakes a bill of lading, just a piece of paper. Then an operator manually types that fake info into the system, which then locks it down on the blockchain. And just like that, the lie about what's in that container is cryptographically sealed, it's permanent, and it's accepted as truth by the whole network. The fraud happened before the fancy tech ever got involved. And look, this isn't just a hypothetical problem. Take a look at TradeLens. This was a massive project between Maersk and IBM. Two absolute giants that was supposed to completely change the game. But in early 2023, they pulled the plug. So why did it fail? Low adoption. Nobody wanted to share their data, partly because they're competitors, sure, but also because of this deep-seated trust issue. The system couldn't actually guarantee the data being put into it was real, so the whole network just never took off. You're right, the GIGO problem is real, and TradeLens is a huge lesson. But only focusing on blockchain is like criticizing a car because it can't fly. You're missing the second, absolutely crucial part of the engine. The real game changer isn't just the ledger. It's how we get trusted information onto that ledger in the first place. And that's where this physical digital handshake comes into play. So what in the world is a physical digital handshake? Well, it's pretty much where the real world and the digital world meet up and check each other's work. Instead of a person typing data from a piece of paper, an IoT sensor, say a smart seal on a container, directly records a physical event. When that seal gets scanned at the port, it automatically creates a trusted, tamper-proof data entry. That data then gets immediately secured on the blockchain. We've just completely cut out the weakest link in the chain, human error and outright fraud. Just look at how the data is flowing here. It doesn't start with a person hunched over a keyboard. No, it flows directly from the physical things, the containers, the ships, the port equipment, straight into the digital ledger. The Internet of Things gives us that verified real-world source of truth. And the blockchain, it just makes that truth permanent and available to everyone who needs it. This combination, this is what finally solves that garbage in, garbage out problem. I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, sounds great on a slide, but where's the proof? Is this actually working anywhere? Good question. So let's shift from theory to practice and look at some real-world smart port projects that are already getting it done. Let's take a look at Dubai. They are all in on this stuff. Through their Smart Dubai initiative, they've already proven this model works at scale in other areas. I mean, property transfers that used to take days now happen in under 30 minutes. And they're taking that exact same playbook to Jebel Ali, one of the busiest ports on the planet. They're using this Handshake for real-time cargo tracking, monitoring everything from location to temperature. This isn't some far-off dream, it's happening right now.
Okay, fair enough. The Dubai pilots are impressive. The combined technology, it clearly works. But that brings us to the next, and maybe the biggest roadblock of all, the money. This sounds incredibly expensive. We're talking about putting sensors on millions of containers, overhauling ancient IT systems. Can ports, especially the smaller ones, really afford to do this?
You know, the costs are definitely significant. No one's denying the challenges. You see on the left side of this scale, the implementation, the integration, the retraining. It's a lot. But you have to weigh that against what's on the right. We already know fraud is costing the industry tens of billions every year. This tech doesn't just promise to eliminate that. It also dramatically cuts down on admin costs and speeds up payments. So the real question isn't, can we afford to do this? It's, can we really afford not to?
And let's just get really specific on cost for a second. Forget the big abstract benefits and just look at this hard data from CargoX, which is a platform for electronic bills of lading. A traditional paper bill of lading cost about $100 to process when you add up all the courier fees and admin work. The CargoX version, built on blockchain, $15. That's an 85% cost reduction on one of the most basic documents in shipping. Now, multiply that by millions of shipments, and the return on investment becomes pretty undeniable.
Okay, so we've got a technology that works and a pretty clear path to a solid return on investment. That vision of the 2025 smart port is starting to look achievable. But now we need to look at what it's actually going to take to get there. What does the road ahead look like for the entire industry? This diagram really does a great job of laying out the whole ecosystem. Over on the left, you've got the core blockchain tech. In the middle, you see all the maritime uses it opens up. Everything from supply chain management to insurance. But look over to the right. That's where we see the hurdles that are still in our way. Technical challenges like getting systems to talk to each other, legal frameworks that need to be updated, and of course, the final boss, getting the entire industry on board. The path is clear, but it is not going to be easy. So let's wrap this all up. First things first, the real enemy was never bad tech. It was bad data. That whole garbage in, garbage out thing is what we need to defeat. Second, IoT sensors are the missing piece of the puzzle, creating that trusted bridge from the physical world to the digital record. Third, even though the tech works, the biggest fights ahead are about money and people, convincing a whole industry to change. And finally, if you remember one thing, remember this. The physical-digital handshake is the key. It's the best model we have for building the secure, efficient ports of the future. We'll leave you with a question for everybody out there in logistics, from the port authorities to the shipping lines to the people who actually own the cargo. You have more data flowing through your systems today than ever before, but can you actually trust it? Is it telling you the truth, or is it just repeating a very convenient and very expensive lie? Because in the end, that's what this whole revolution is really about.